목사님, I feel like I should do sebe to you right now. I feel like I need to honor you right now.
I want to make a handshake.
See, that's because you're so humble. You're so humble, 목사님. It's so good seeing you. It's so good seeing you.
Thank you.
I know you've had such a very busy season these past couple of months. You just got back from Korea for 1 month. You told me you did 4 funerals.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
For your church members, for their parents.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness. Is that common for K 목사님s? They would go to Korea for their members' parents and do funerals? That's common?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. But then you said you also got to visit some of your associate pastors who are now 목사님s, right?
Mm-hmm. So it was really great time because I really want to share what I experienced. So with our associated pastor, they are almost the rookie as a senior pastor. So they need some coaching and mentoring, how to go through. So, and emotionally, spiritually, they need a kind of a protection and comfort. So that's why I went to there, and then I met their church leaders, lay leaders, and I shared how I loved them. So it was really great time to help them practically and help them emotionally and spiritually.
In Korea, 목사님, what's it like right now? Because I know COVID in Korea is a little bit different than where we're at right now. So is it still very strict? Is it still, you can't go inside without mask? What's it like?
Yeah, inside we have to put the mask, but everything is really getting,
it's more better, it's casual. Okay.
So that's why I could go there.
Yeah. How did COVID affect the Korean churches in Korea? What did it do to them? And what is the emotional makeup right now of KM 목사님s in Korea?
Yeah, very unfortunately, a lot of other country Christian, they respond that after COVID-19, my faith, my beliefs was getting better. But oppositely, Korean people thought that I lost my faith. COVID-19 gave me a really bad damage to keep my faith. So it is a big challenge in Korea. So a lot of young people left the church, and then people thought that churches failed to care people and help people in COVID-19. So a lot of people will not return to church. So that's why a lot of Korean churches got a big challenge. How to do, what to do for the next step. Yeah. I think that other countries, a lot of Christians, they had a really great influence. They got a big challenge to improve and to grow in faith. But in Korea, a lot of people lost the faith.
Oh man, that's very unfortunate. That's really
that
sad.
is related to the church social accountability, because church requested that we have to keep our service. So it doesn't matter that mass infection is risky or not. So that's why a lot of people thought that the Korean churches are selfish. So that's why people think that we lost the social accountability. So at that time, we couldn't give a kind of a social answer to Korean people, non-believers. Faith is very important to go through a difficult situation. They are selfish. So that's why some people who had a little bit, some Christians who had not strong faith, okay, I don't want to go to church. It's really disappointed.
Did a lot of Korean churches in Korea shrink, got small?
Yeah. That's why a lot of pastors are in trouble, and that they have to find another way. So, and a lot of Korean Christian response to that, we need a social action and social participation healthily for Korean society. So that's going to be a really big challenge in Korea.
What does that mean? We need more social action. What do you mean by that?
So we church is really needed for public life, and then church churches are really selfish. They had a bad image. Churches are really selfish, like a business. So they have to change more. They need
people in Korea thought church was like a business.
Yes.
And they thought that the church was very selfish. So they're trying to change that image around.
Right. So that's why you guys have to do something good for our society. We really want to feel churches are needed for our community and society.
Wow, that must be very difficult to fight that battle.
Yeah, it should be not easy for Korean churches to change their bad images after COVID-19.
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but 목사님, I had the privilege to serve under you at GSC, Good Stewards Church. And you know, 목사님, you and Timothy Song 목사님, you're the only two KM 목사nims that I have an actual relationship with. I know a lot of KM 목사nims, and I inza and I say hi, but there are no 목사nims that I could have coffee with or eat lunch with, and I could talk to like this. And so I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, it was also a great privilege for me to serve our church with you. And then it was really good spiritual heritage to meet Timothy Song 목사님 as a senior pastor. So he gave me a really great influence, and it was a great role model. So I really followed him to have a relationship with the second generation pastors.
Yeah. Okay, I feel so thankful that I get to have a relationship with you. I got to serve with you. Junyoung used to be an elementary student when I was an elementary pastor, and now he's in college. You say he's in college?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What school is he at now?
Citrus College. That college is really customized to handicapped people, especially autistic kids. So that system was really good. That's why we choose it. We choose to send him to Citrus College. Maybe, he's really good to adjust in a totally different environment.
Is he liking it? Is he enjoying it?
Right. Wow. And then he got a confirmation too. By himself.
Church confirmation.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Himself.
Yeah.
So Pastor Charlie was really happy because he thought that I am autistic kid. I have a mental problem. So is that okay to get baptism? Is it true? God loved me, and I'm really addicted to a video game. Even though my addiction, God loves me. It was Junyoung's question.
Oh, Junyoung.
And then I confessed that God loved me because of not my perfection.
Yeah.
But my imperfection. My imperfection is the proof. It's not the proof. God doesn't love me. Oppositely, my imperfection is the evidence. The reason God loved me.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah,
my heart is like so blessed right now.
Yeah,
I knew Junyoung as such a little boy. Oh my goodness.
You were the best elementary pastor to
Does
Junyoung.
Does Junyoung still remember me? Does he remember me? Oh, Junyoung.
That's why he really loved to play the
Nerf
gun.
blasters.
So I want to be a Nerf gun collector.
Yeah.
So you have to meet the pastor.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We played every Sunday. We played Nerf every Sunday.
Right. That was the starting point to love Nerf guns. So recently, talk to me. I want to be a collector.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Then it was a really good hobby to Junyoung and to play with some other people. And then he confessed his faith by himself.
That's so good.
So every day he always read the Bible, and he has a QT time, quiet time. That was really great.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And you said Paul now is in nursing school.
Yeah.
That's what you said. He just started?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And which nursing school is he at?
Not he started. He's going to start.
Oh, he's going to start. Okay, so he can apply. Mm-hmm. And Jenny is already working. You said Jenny is working, and she's doing these. What was it again that she's doing?
That I heard that the breakthrough, that is for MPO, for low-income students.
Okay. Here in California? Or is she in New York?
That came from New York, but the office is in San Jose.
San Jose. Okay, so she's in Northern California.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's away. Okay. It's a funny story. Years ago, I think maybe almost 5 years ago, I went to Chick-fil-A in Brea and Jenny was working there.
Right. It was the first job.
That's Jenny. I think she was so embarrassed when she saw me. Oh, man. We had so many good times, Moksanim. I still talk about my time serving at GSC with you and the other pastors. I loved that time. It was so good for me and my soul. Moksanim, when you first came, you were taking over for Timothy Song, Moksanim, who also we know is someone we love, we respect. Again, you and Timothy Song, Moksanim, are those rare KM pastors who want to really work with EM well and understand the EM. And very humble. You were two very, very humble men. But what was it like for you when you came to take over Timothy's Song? What were you thinking? And how old were you, Moksanim, when that happened?
At that time, I was 40 years old.
40. And you came from Korea?
No, at that I was in a relational church at that time as an associated pastor.
Okay, up in the valley.
Yeah, 32 years, maybe it was 33 years old when I arrived in America.
Okay.
So I spent some 6 more years in ANC and Fuller Seminary. And then I was invited as a senior pastor for GSC. So at the time I was young and I really want to learn. And then I thought that I'm not professional for next generation because I'm just the first generation pastor. So I thought that I don't need to teach something for next generation pastors because I'm not a professional for next generation ministry. So it was really a great starting point. I want to listen. What do you want? What do you think? So, okay, that is my job to help them. And then Timothy Song Moksanim also, he talked to me, we are not professional to next generation. So I don't want to pretend to good help them. So it was a really bad approach. So he talked to me, please don't try that. Just trust them, just believe them, and then give opportunity to do something great from their side. Just help them. Yeah, I completely agree. So I also thought that I'm not professional for the next generation. So I have to learn from second generation pastors how to help them. That was the starting point.
Where do you think that comes from? Because what you just said there, learn from them, listen to them. We're not professionals. That's very uncommon with KM Moksanims.
Yeah.
Typical story that I hear is KM Moksanim is you do what I say, do it this way. Or there is no relationship. They just let them do whatever they want. And there is no communication. And every once in a while, you have to do a joint Christmas service together. And so where does that come from you and Timothy Song? How did you guys develop that?
Personally, I was also kind of a professional for Korean young adult ministry. At that time, I thought a lot of things and I suggested a lot of things to church, but they didn't listen to me. You are a young pastor. You don't know church. I just want to give you a direction. Just follow it. No, I don't think so. Young people are leaving church. So we have to find another way. You guys have to listen to next generation Korean young people. But they didn't listen then. So I thought that something wrong. They had a great experience, but that is not everything. Sometimes great experience could be bad things for the next time, for the next generation. So I really want to respect their experience and their testimony. But please don't think easily. My experience could be the best solution for the next generation. So at the time, I seriously felt that it was wrong. So I don't want to make the same mistakes. So I thought that second generation pastor ministry, I'm not professional. I just came here 6 years ago. Even though they are 30 years old, they are better than me because they spent 30 years in America and that they struggled with young people. So we have to listen to them. That was my focus. And then Timothy 목사님 was also same heart. When I shared that thing, he also completely agree. Don't try anything. Just listen. Wow, Pastor Song, I'm so glad to meet the same people. We are on the same page. I really want to respect your perspective, and I'm really happy to work together.
How did you deal with taking over for Pastor Timothy Song? Because everyone loved him. He was very well known, very well respected. Were you nervous? Were you worried? And how did you deal with that personally?
Personally, I thought that I met a really great pastor. So he has a great strong point. I really want to learn. I thought that learning is the most important thing from my side. I want to learn from his great personality and his really good characters. And then I really want to learn a lot of things from young generation pastors. And something is a little bit difficult to adjust because he's also old age and I'm young generation. At the time, I just want to respect. And then I find my own way, and I spent a lot of time to trust me and to trust him. I thought that kind of a vision, logic, rationality, those are not important to keep our relationship. Kind of a time wasting, holy wasting to trust for each other. So I thought that, I don't want to try to persuade him. I don't want to try to, explain everything in logically. Just I want to spend time, wasting time with him. That is more important things. He trusted me and I also trusted him. That was really great starting point.
Moksani, we did this thing once a month where we all gathered together at your house. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a kuyogyebe for pastors.
Yeah.
And I loved those times. We ate dinner together. Mm-hmm. I remember you would always be grilling the kalbi and you'd be all sweaty because you're grilling outside.
Yeah.
And we ate together. But at the end, we sat in a circle and every single person, even all the wives, every single person got to share a life update.
Yeah.
And I remember those times how much I enjoyed that because it helped us to be on a very relational level. Mm-hmm. There was no hierarchy in that house.
Yeah.
And you welcomed us there. Why was that so important for you? Because that happened with Timothy Song and then you continued that tradition. Why was that so important for you?
Yeah, I thought that time wasting, holy time wasting is better than great vision, great direction. So that was my heart and perspective. How much waste your time holy? That's going to be really great holistic relationship. So I really enjoyed that time. I don't want to make a kind of a 군대, army style, hierarchy style. Okay, you guys are young, cook steak. We're going to have a rest time to be prepared. But I shared with my wife and the other associated Korean pastors. It doesn't matter. Serving is the most important, the role, the life of Jesus Christ. We have to learn that. And I don't want to preach. I don't want to just have a preaching about the serving. We have to serve for each other. So that's why I really encouraged our Korean associated pastors. You guys are more experienced. So it's really expensive. Beef steak, don't waste. So you guys are the best guy to cook expensive steak. That was my joke. So they understood what I talked to them. Yeah, that is the kind of a practicing in our daily life. So I don't want to preach verbally. I really want to serve our friends, our pastors, as I preached. So that was my lucky things and the God's blessing when I met Timothy Song 목사님. If it was not easy for me to do. Oh, okay, that is kind of strategy to get people's heart because, okay, that is good strategy. Maybe a lot of people could misunderstand about that. But he was really humble pastor. Okay, so it's blessing. I can do it. What I wanted. So that's really great blessing to me. Mm-hmm.
You know, Moksan, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a staff meeting where we came together and you shared that you had this heart to perhaps church plant. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah,
because GSC was getting so big, we were running out of parking spaces.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough space in the main sanctuary. I remember, Moksan, when you took over, the church started growing because all these young families started coming. Yeah. So we're running out of space in the main sanctuary. We're running out of space in the parking lot. And you shared in a staff meeting, I think we have to church plant because we're running out of space. And then you said this, you said, I don't think it's a good idea for a Korean church to get big because a lot of Korean churches, when they get big, they go through church split. I don't want to go through church split. And I still remember that. That also is very uncommon. Most Korean pastors, they want a big church, mega church. Why did you say that? Why did you not want to get a big church and be in the newspaper and be one of the biggest Korean churches?
I thought that more important thing is not church growth, church extent. So I really want to expand the great Korean churches. So I share with all elders our the goal of middle-sized church is not the mega church. The goal of a middle-sized church is healthy, small, and middle-sized churches. So we have to change our perspective. So I already shared with the other EM pastors recently. My next 13 years goal is how many EM churches planting.
Wow.
Yeah, that is my goal. And my prayer request is I really want to help second generation church planting.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I really, that is not just the verbal propaganda. I really want to realize it. So I share with all pastors and I also share with the elders board. This is the 14th year in our church. And for the next 14 years, I will make church planting for next generation churches. And then I'm going to split our Korean churches for one time.
Wow.
Because church need newcomers.
Yeah.
That is really important to change the mood of church. But we have to grow and grow. It's unavoidable. The best way is split. So we can make another church planting and then we can get newcomers. So that is very important. We don't want to make a big mega churches. We can make a healthy, two middle-sized churches. That is my vision. So that's why I share that.
That is wonderful, Moksanim. I love your heart. I love your vision. I wish other churches could follow that vision as well. Remember, Moksanim, do you remember when you shared that at the staff meeting? Do you remember me coming into your office that day? And I told you, Moksanim, I said, right. Moksanim, if you church plant, because you wanted to church plant in Chino Hills, I said, Moksanim, I want to be the EM pastor.
Yeah, right.
I told that to you. I said, I want a church plant with you.
I remember.
Yeah.
Someday, maybe. I'm not sure, but someday. So that's why I had a really preparation time last 14 years. So that's why I want to stay in a GSC because my age, 55 years old, and that is the last opportunity to
Yeah.
serve other churches, another
Yeah.
church, or to make a church planting. But I abandoned that concept. I want to keep my position in a GSC. That is, because I have another reason. Okay, I want to, plant more churches. I really want to encourage our next generation pastors. I want to split our church for the next step. That's gonna be really good sample. So maybe, we cannot guarantee everything, but maybe someday. I'm not sure.
It's possible. The door is open.
Mm.
At that time, I remember you shared that with the elders at that time, and the elders said they didn't want to do it. They didn't want a church plant. Why do you think they said no? What was the reason?
At the time, we were also we spent a hard time financially, and then everything was not great. So it was really a big burden for elders to keep our church ministry. So at this situation, wow, your vision is really good, but a little bit difficult for me. So, okay, I can understand, but we don't need to pay. We don't need to pay money about dreaming, and the vision. So I just want to have a dream and vision. You don't need to pay about that.
It's free.
I just want to share my vision and dream. You don't need to pay about that. Just I can share. Maybe someday we can have a power preparation heart. At that time, our dream, our vision should be realized, accomplished. So I just want to wait. Don't worry. You don't need to pay about that. It's just a dream and vision. You don't need to pay money to my dream, my vision. It was they also they were relaxed, and then okay, I see. We really want to help your vision for next time if you can prepare. We don't need to pay about vision. That's great.
Hey, real quick, thank you so much for watching. If you're finding value in this content, can you please support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, selecting all on the notification bell, or write a comment down below. All 4 of these things helps our channel get pushed out more on YouTube homepages so that more people can find this value. Okay, let's get back to the podcast.
When we talk about KM 목사님's and their emotional makeup, their style of leadership, it's usually a very strong, almost like a general in an army. I think about like what influences that. There has to be things that influence that style of leadership. A lot of it is our culture. I think a lot of it though is also maybe the relationship with their father. Maybe that's how their appa treated them, or that's how what it was like. But part of me also thinks, I wonder if Kunde influenced that as well. I remember Moksa used to share Kunde stories with me at church. You shared this one story where you told me there was a time in Kunde where you had to experience tear gas for real.
Yeah.
And you told me that they put you in this room and they open the tear gas and you have mask on, and then they say, take your mask off. And you said,
and singing.
Yes, sing. And then you told me you have to sing. And you told me that shout out to Oma, I help you. And you said everyone's crying and shouting out.
Yeah.
What was that like for you when you had to experience that?
We have to be a good son. No choice. We have to be a good son because mom crying. It's kind of a wrong role model, because we always experienced king, father, teacher, same. So we always thought that authority figure have to be higher than us, and that we have to respect, and that they can talk a little bit rudely, or they have to have a really big power. So that was wrong leadership model. So that was, I think, culturally, historically, we experienced a little bit in wrong way. So we couldn't understand. I mean, even though we read the Bible and the servantship of Jesus Christ, but it was just a word. It was just the capitals. So we always do our own frame. everything. So that was the wrong first experience and concept. So after that, I thought that what is leadership? Not power, not ability, not high level culture. Just I thought that we have to change our leadership element from those things to happiness, relationship, and the pleasure, and the interest to sharing. Those things are very important for the next leadership. So I really want to change my heart, but it was unavoidable because they always learned those things. King, father, teacher, same. So people thought that is kind of destiny, and we don't need to change. But so that's why a lot of Korean pastors, personally, they are really good. But when they participate in kind of a church leader or pastor category, okay, I have to do something in that way.
Like a king. They have to act like that.
Right.
Okay. Wow. In that time in Korean history, there was a lot of things going on with the South Korean government.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you used to share stories with me about your days of protesting. There was this one story you shared with me where, I don't know if we could share this. I'll edit it out if you want me to. But you shared the story with me where you took a bunch of government files and you went to the top of a high school and you ripped it up and you threw it out and you were burning. And you said that I think you almost went to jail for it because it was
almost
so risky.
Yeah.
Why were you doing that? Why were you protesting? Why were your friends protesting? What was happening during that time in Korea?
Yeah, at the time, I was really kind of bad student to challenge authority. I always challenged the authority, church, college, and the government. So that is very important for our Korean society to change that really biased concept. So, and the military dictators, they ruled over the Korean society. People thought that it's not reasonable, but we have to follow, we have to obey. No, I don't think so. So I really want to try to overcome and go through the wrong barrier and the wrong frame. I thought that a lot of Christians, even though they believed Jesus Christ and gospel, but they have their own frame, like 경상도, 남자, male-based, man-based, and a successful life frame. They always have their own frame and hierarchy concept. So even though they listened to preaching, they thought that, okay, it's not match my filter. They removed everything. So I found that if some Christian learned a lot of things in Korea in Korean churches for 30 years, 40 years, they are getting worse. Can you understand? So because just the 경상도, 남자, successful life, and hierarchism. That frame-based Christianity. So after 30 years, 40 years, their frame is thicker than, higher than. So more stubborn. So I found that. So I really want to fight that. We need a de-learning. We need to de-learning. We had a wrong learning 시간. We had a really wrong things, learned a lot of wrong things. So we need a de-learning. So that was my goal. If I want to make a discipleship, if I want to participate in discipleship, the first thing is proud, destroy, and de-learning, de-frame. And then we can put seed and then put water. So I thought that is very important, the process. That's why I involved in student power to break everything. So it was
What year was that? What year was that happening in?
From 1987 to
the late 80s.
89.
Yeah.
Really, I spent a hard time.
Yeah. It's very odd for me to hear this because for someone who came from the late 80s. I remember in Korea, lots of protests. I saw it on the news. It's very odd for me to hear you say you were trying to challenge authority and you wanted to deframe, de-learn, and I want to do it like this. But what changed in you? You're so humble now and you're so giving. You're so gentle, 목사님. When did that change?
My first step, we need to change the system. But I also felt that the limit of changing system. So I was trying to change the people. It's also limited. So changing system, changing people personally, those are idealistic. So I have to find another way. So I thought that I want to change landscape. It is not system. It is not personal changing. Just I want to change landscape. I don't want to make a law. I don't want to persuade the people personally. Just I want to make a beautiful landscape people can participate in personally. And we can make a community. And then we can change our system. So I thought that some people talk to me, that is also idealistic. Yeah, I know. I just find the third idealistic way, but that is much better than me. I fought for system changing, but I thought that, wow, it's too hard and it's too violent. I also tried to change personally, one person. Too long and boring. It's also idealistic. So I thought that, okay, what is the next way? So, okay, I want to make beautiful landscape. They should want to participate in. And then they can change personally. And then we can change system. He can change. We can change the system. He can change personally. So I just want to, that was my idealistic way, changing landscape. So we can cook it, we can serve it. So it was really happy to me. So that's why I was really violent someday. I was really personal, but okay, it doesn't matter. I want to just be happy. That was my third way.
This whole thing about landscape that you just talked about, that should be a book, 목사님. What you just explained is such a good way to think about leadership and to think about even church strategy. That was gold right there. That was golden wisdom. I love how you explained that. When you hear about other KM 목사님s, because we still have the same problems between KM and EM.
Mm.
I still hear the same problems, same arguments and same tension, issues. When you hear about that from other KM 목사님s, what do you think about?
Yeah, honestly, that's the problem of not the language and culture issue, but the sin issue. So I always share with the K pastors, just think about our cultural sins, our personal sin, our bad experience. We can give a really hurt to them. And I know you guys also can get a hurt from second generation pastors, but we need to focus that they got hurt more than us. So who is higher, who is lower? It doesn't matter. We have to focus on they got hurt more than us. So what is the healing process, the starting point of healing process? If you are better than, if you get a lower hurt than some people, and then you need to care and listen to them. So I think it's not the same. We are not on the same page. Second generation pastors got more hurt than us. They got a hurt from their parents and the Korean authority. and then you are also here. So their trauma and hurts are related to a lot of background. You just think that, wow, he's not humble, he's not listener, but you need to think about his background, second generation pastor's life. Do you have an interest in his life? What kind of difficulty were in last 35 years old? If you have no idea about that, don't just approach everything case by case. We need to, we need to think about more and more. I got a heart lower than him, so we need to care them. So I know what you got also hurt, but think about it. They got a big hurt, so we need to change our attitude. But I think that it's not easy for them to accept what I think, what I talked. Yeah, I can understand. They also got a lot of hurt to Korean culture and church members. So I also share that I know you got also really big hurt from Korean congregation. But why did you transfer your hurt to them? Please don't do that. He's not just a listener. We have to change our heart. If your heart are not transformed, your heart should be transferred to them. So please stop. Your hurts are very important, I know, but don't transfer. You need to transformed, not transferred. So it was really big difficulty for that, but we need to talk about it. So, and then when I met other second generation pastors, think about your pastors as a really kind of pity guy, hurted guy with the other people. So that's why they want to keep their authority to you. So you can feel that, it's really, he also need a kind of care. So when you feel in the same page, we can make a really great relationship. But he want to be a higher authority when he meet second generation pastors. But when he meet the other church leaders, he's really getting smaller. So that's why we are in a difficult situation. But yeah, it's not easy. So I'm always pursuing them. Please keep in mind, they got a hurt more than us. And then you are also got a big hurt. So you need to transform. Don't transfer your hurt to them.
We talked a lot about kunde and things that may have influenced the leadership of Korean moksanims. I also think that their relationship with their father, with their appa, probably has influenced the way they lead in a church. You know me, when I was growing up, I never played sports with my appa. I talked to him here and there, and we had a good relationship, but not like today where you play sports or go out together, have coffee together.
Mm-hmm.
My appa worked 12 hours every day, came home, ate dinner, watched a little bit of TV, and that's it. He's so tired.
Mm.
And that's the relationship I have with my appa. Do you think that K Moksanims had similar, maybe even worse relationship with their father, and that's influencing the way they lead in a church?
Yeah, that is very, authority figure issues are really important to show their leaderships. So authority figure issue. So they have to be healed about their authority figure issues. I thought that is very important. Fortunately, my father was really good. He always went to the fishing with me, and he also went to the baseball player place. So I spent a really great time with my father. So I thought that if I didn't do, I think I'm a really bad father. So I have to cook. I have to prepare something for my kids. So that was really natural because, I thought that I didn't try to be nice father and pastor because that was really easy to me because my father always did like that. So I thought that, wow, we have to change our memory and that we have to be healed. It's very important. So maybe after one more generation, everything should be really happy. So I guarantee that after 30 years, father's school will not be kept because a lot of fathers are changing. So I think it's kind of the transition from modernism to postmodernism. I experienced a really great, nice father. That was really good to me to be a nice pastor, nice father to our kids. Yeah, so that was my privilege and blessing. I'm not special.
Moksani, you have been at this church for 14 years now. And when you see Korean American second gen pastors, what are some things about my generation that you get frustrated with? What are some things about us and our pastoral leadership and style that you feel like this needs to be changed? This needs to be fixed here.
Just one thing. Always a lot of second generation pastors were exposed to education ministry. So they didn't prepare to be a adult ministry pastor. So sometimes I thought that I also share with our other pastors, really, if I want to, easy way, I can change EM pastors after 36 years old. I can change EM pastors continually. That means our EM congregation will keep young generation. They will not be married couple. Married couple will not participate in our EM, and adults will not participate in EM because pastors' experience and pastors' thinking is very important. So if I keep 37, 36 years old EM pastor, our EM should be under 37. That means it's really easy for me to control them. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really want to give a chance to be the oldest pastor in our church. That means EM congregation also get old people and adult people 55, 60 ages. So that is my goal. But sometimes our EM pastors didn't think about it, just focusing on college and young adult because their experience are limited, even though they were really smart and really challenge of a great vision, but their experience was limited. So they always focus on college and young adult. No, please don't do that. We have to change our perspective. We need to expand our perspective. So I talked to our pastor, Charlie. My goal is make you the oldest pastor in our church. Can you understand what I'm saying? What does it mean? That means you're going to be a married couples leader, and then you're going to be a 40, 50 church members leader, and then you have to lead elders. So, education department is not for, EM is not the place for education department teachers. Providing education department, teacher providing. We have a really wrong concept. Why EM is needed? We need education teachers. So that's it? No. So they have to grow. They have to getting old. Yeah, that is, they have to make all the elders. They have to pick all the elders. That is my goal. We can grow together.
That's a very narrow-minded EM to think of EM just as the education teachers for Sunday school. But that is how we usually operate. That's why KM wants EM. They want those teachers. But to think about married couples, married small groups, even married couples when their kids are in college now they're empty nesters. They don't have kids anymore. We need leaders that know how to lead and minister in those life stages.
Right. That's why but sometimes some young pastors have no idea about that. So they want to go to other big churches. I can understand completely. So that's why they had no option. They had no exit. So that's why they have to leave our Korean American churches. But I really want to give them good opportunity to grow as adult pastors.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, 목사님, there's you, Timothy Sam 목사님, 강 목사님 at New Life Vision. There's No 목사님 at 사랑. There's a Brian 목사님 at Bethel Church. He used to be at CPC. There's a very few, I think I named 5 people right there, KM 목사nims that lead in the style and the way that you just described for the past 40, 35 minutes. Very few of you. So how do we replicate you and Kang 목사님 and No 목사님 and Brian 목사님 and Timothy Sam 목사님? How do we replicate you so that we can have healthier KM and EM relationships?
I think more and more KM pastors should be prepared for that. So I also shared a lot of things with other pastors. They also have a strong interest in our church's model. And then they are ready to be a good pastor, to make a relationship with second generation pastors. Just that they didn't have a good experience. They didn't have some kind of good cases. So we can provide that. They can do really great things. And that is, I also thought that my job, if you can make a church planting for the next generation, a lot of people will have interest in what's going on in here. Maybe we can share our next generation pastors together. Maybe they can listen and that they can try someday. And that is my prayer request.
You know, you and I, we're going to teach a class next semester.
Yeah.
We're going to teach this KM, EM class. It's the first time we've tried this, so we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go through these topics and talk about different perspectives from first-gen Korean to second-gen Korean American. I think there are some obvious topics to talk about. Salary, how to pay pastors.
Yeah.
Relationship, of course. How to work together in ministry. Understanding that the first-gen culture will do ministry in a different way from a second-gen culture. The ministry is a little bit different. What are some topics that you feel like are necessary? We need to talk about these things in the class.
I think, maybe at first we can share some case study. Some in the case, what do you think, what you feel, those things, and then salary and a lot of things should be picked up. I think too many things.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Hannah and I, we still talk about Good Stewards Church. We still talk about you. And we talk about how much we loved you and our experience there. I loved Good Stewards Church. And do you remember that I just got married? This was back in 2010. I got married.
Right. Yeah.
And then I told you, 목사님, I want to stay here. I was elementary pastor, but I couldn't work part-time anymore. I had to be full-time. But the elders didn't want to do it. They didn't want to give me full-time. And I tell people that if the elders gave me full-time at that Good Stewards, I think I would still be there till this day.
Yeah, I know. At the time, that was my sad thing. At the time, our church finance was not good. So I share with the elders, next generation pastors are not ready to be adult pastors. that is their own problem, but KM Church's problem, because we didn't provide full-time opportunity. So that's what that is the big problem. So we need to change our perspective. So we need to invest more money to next generation. So I also thought that, and then after you leave, our church felt that, okay, Pastor Song's idea is right. And then our church finance is getting better. So I really want to focus on our next generation pastors. So and then, we can have a lot of EM full-time pastors. So when I thought about it, I'm so sad.
I was sad too. I was sad too. I so loved being there. I loved being with you.
Yeah.
I loved talking with you. Even the elders, a lot of the elders were English speaking.
Yeah,
so I got to
right.
have conversations with them.
Yeah.
And even some of the parents, even though they were in KM, they were more like 1.5.
Yeah, right.
So I remember when I first started working there, parents would come in and speak perfect English. I was like, whoa. I was so surprised, so shocked. And it was such a good environment there. And I think Moksaim, what you're doing there with Pastor K, Pastor Charlie, Pastor Peter, I still remember Peter. I think you guys are building such a good church and such a good community there.
Yeah, right. That is my goal. And maybe we are talking about tuition program for next generation. They have to study M.Div program, but they are limited. A lot of second generation pastors are needed, but we don't have enough pastors. So I share with all elders, we need to invest. And if some pastors already became a pastor, they graduated the M.Div program, okay, we can pay the debt, student loan. That is very important for next generation pastors because they have to pay everything by themselves. So we need to have an interest in their financial status. So, okay, church is church, so don't talk about the salary. No, we have to talk about our salary for next generation. So everything is not easy. Now we are also beginning step. So I asked that the 4-1 kind of a retire program have to be began for associated pastors. And then we have to pay Welcome. And then we need to pay our M.Div program debt for our second generation pastors. But I'm not sure how long I can go. But I believe I start. So that's going to be really good journey.
That's a great thing to implement in the church. And as you know, we're starting the M.Div program here in the fall. And so I think our tuition will be competitive. So you could bring them this way, bring them this way. Moksaim, you are an example to me. I think about your leadership and I think about your character. And I'm always so thankful that I get to have a relationship with you. Your church, Good Stewards Church, ordained me as a Moksaim, and you were at my ordination. I still remember when we had coffee together. I remember you wanted to meet up with me. And I still remember when we had coffee together, you sat down with me and you said, John, don't be nervous. This is not test. I just want to talk with you. And we just talked about life. We talked about life. Don't worry, I'm not going to test you or anything. And I still remember that. And you gave me something at my ordination. It was the cross where two people hugging.
Right.
I still have it.
Oh,
I still have it. And you gave me a green towel because you told me you got to wash the feet of other people.
Yeah.
And I still remember that. And so thank you so much, Moksaim, for your example in my life. And
thank you.
I love how you're still in the church and you are a model for many pastors. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your blessing. Yes, I'm not special, but God made me really in a great way through really great our EM pastors. They always blessed me and encouraged me. And they gave me a really great courage. So that's why I can come here. And so I really appreciate to your invite and That's my great privilege. Thank you.